What is the big picture of Bitcoin? Why does it matter? We're trans- we are transitioning away from the post-industrial age to the information age. The proclaimed the proclaimed paradigm shift entails that we're transitioning away from our old models, our own methods of doing things, and moving into something that looks similar but works very differently. And that is Bitcoin, digital money. Milton Friedman in 1999 somewhat predicted the rise of digital money or currency. It is more important now than ever because what is actually going on in our world? What's happening in the world? What is happening in the world is that major banks are having massive debt and are passing on their debt crisis, their lack of accountability, and passing it on to the taxpayer with the help of government. Big governments around the world, United States, because that is where we live, that is where I live. In the United States, there is rumors of capital controls, of the government preparing themselves for capital controls. Ron Paul had talked about this in his presidential election. However, we don't need only to look at what Ron Paul is saying or what Milton Friedman predicted, but look into our backyard and look into the world around us. Taxes are going up, deficits are not being fixed. There is a claimed recovery being harped by the media, and obviously the economy is not going to recover when there is so much debt and there is red tape and jobs are limited and they're becoming part-time. You have to work 2 jobs now to maintain your livelihood. We're not number 1 anymore, as the American football fans yell when they're at the Super Bowl. American number 1, American number 1. The problem is that our glory is past. We are a fading empire. We are in 1914. Think about it this way. In our times, we're in 1914. We're in the brink of another world war with other superpowers such as China. I'm not promulgating fear porn, we're reporting on what academics are stating. We are in 1914. Our global society is very frail and our currency is worthless. Our society is decaying, collapsing, though that is a microcosm of the macrocosm. The macrocosm is that there is an unelected bureaucratic order sponsored and supported by a corporate financier shadow class that manipulates and attempts to control the perception of reality because it benefits and profits them. In 2013 and years before that, major publications talked about Bitcoin with a deriding tone, with an attitude that was dismissive, because you have to be crazy and a sucker to be into Bitcoin. Now, if we look back at the year 2013, we've noticed that Bitcoin has actually outperformed all of those negative predictions. And if you had $100 of Bitcoin, you would have made a killing. You would have made a killing. But the media won't tell you that. Of course not. Now they're getting acclaimed. Now they're getting accustomed to the Bitcoin domination of the virtual world. Bitcoin will help the virtual world rescue its freedom. The reason I believe that Bitcoin is derided negatively has to do with its disruptive nature. Bitcoin disrupts the established order. It disrupts major central banks. It disrupts big government because it does not depend on a central authority or on the fees, the transaction fees of the major credit card owners and of Western Union, and it will not steal your money like other banks are doing. There are many cases of bank theft that go unpunished because the bankers own the economy, the bankers own the government. Essentially, the country is of the bankers for the bankers. This is the main reason why the establishment won't promulgate positively Bitcoin. This is the reason the media at the get-go wouldn't promote Bitcoin, wouldn't say how beneficial it is for society, because the sponsors don't want you to hear that. The sponsors don't want you to know that. Zbigniew Brzezinski, he realizes that it is more effective to kill 1 million people than to convince them of anything.
Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people.
The ruling class are losing their foothold on society. Zbigniew Brzezinski actually complained about this. He called it the global awakening. In this global awakening, we need tools, things to trade and collaborate. We need communities, we need networks, and we need the most precious resources. And we need to exploit the most precious resource. And that might sound extreme to you, but the most precious resource is human ingenuity, human innovation. That is something that will help us, that will save us. We're in the middle of a chaotic scientific and technological revolution. Where the tide goes is up to us. We must adapt, embrace, and use these tools. Bitcoin and other crypto coins offer you a lifeboat, offer you an opportunity to rescue your assets, to have financial freedom, and to purchase banned goods. The future is going to be very, very scary, and I have no idea how is it going to turn out. But we can look around and see what awaits us. There are strikes, riots, upsurges all around the world. Our country is not impervious to it, and the sleeping giant is awakening. Some people are not very aware, not politically sophisticated enough to know there is a banking class manipulating everything of importance. All the major institutions are co-opted by their representatives, by their jackals. There are very few people who understand that fact. But the general feeling is that there is the lowest confidence in government ever, and there is anger. Whether it's justified anger or unjustified anger, or whether they're informed or uninformed, doesn't matter. The fact is that there's a bunch of angry, pissed off people who are unemployed, who have nothing else to do, and what's worse, there's millions of young people who also don't have a job, don't have prospects, and things are not looking pretty happy in the future. So you figure where this is going. You need to rescue yourself, find the tools, understand them, and pass the word. This is Hector for a quick news update, and there is a lot more to talk about, but this is just the big picture to get you to understand as to why I'm so fanatical about Bitcoin and crypto coins. On the next follow-up update, we're going to be talking about Quark and why it is the true coin of the people for the people. Stay tuned. Thank you very much for listening to this quick update. And remember, don't panic. Buy Bitcoin.